pain has a way of making you question everything you thought you knew about God, because when suffering strikes without explanation, your heart cries out, "Why would a loving Father allow this?" And yet it is in these very moments that heaven is doing something you cannot see. One of the shocking reasons God allows pain you don't understand is because pain exposes what comfort hides. When life is easy, you can drift into self-reliance without noticing, but when your world shatters, you discover whether your faith is built on sand or on rock. And James 1 verse 3 reminds you that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Another hidden reason is that pain becomes the furnace where your character is purified, because gold is not refined on sunny days but in fire, and 1 Peter 1 verse 7 declares your faith, refined by trials, will result in praise and glory when Christ is revealed. You may not realize it, but God often uses pain as a divine redirection, closing doors violently so that you will not settle for less than what He has prepared, and though it feels cruel in the moment, later you look back and whisper Romans 8 verse 28, that all things work together for good to those who love Him. Pain also has a way of connecting you to others in ways joy never could, because your scars become the very language of comfort for someone else's wounds, and 2 Corinthians 1 verse 4 says God comforts you in affliction so that you can comfort others, meaning your suffering is not wasted. It is multiplied into healing for someone else. Sometimes the most difficult truth is that pain is the only thing that will bend your knees in prayer, because prosperity rarely teaches dependence, but desperation does, and in those nights of tears when you have no words left, the Spirit intercedes with groanings too deep for words, aligning your heart with God's will. The enemy would love for you to believe pain is proof that God has abandoned you, but in reality it is evidence that God is still shaping you, because Hebrews 12 verse 6 declares the Lord disciplines those He loves, and what feels like punishment is often protection from a greater disaster you cannot yet see. Pain is not a sign of God's absence. It is a canvas where His glory is secretly painted in strokes that only eternity will fully reveal, and while the process feels unbearable, the promise is certain. Psalm 30 verse 5 says weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So when you are walking through pain that makes no sense, refuse to believe the lie that it is meaningless, because the very tears you shed are watering seeds of a harvest you cannot yet imagine, and very soon the testimony will rise from your brokenness, and you will see that what once tried to destroy you was the very thing God used to elevate you into destiny.